It seemed like you broke even on a lot of key indicators, but almost chasing the game. Is that the most frustrating aspect of that?
Oh, look, the positive was we broke even in some of them, and even more scoring shots and inside 50s. So there's bits you want to grab onto, but at the end of the day, I think we learned a lesson in terms of how clean they were with the ball. Their ball use just hurt us, and their ability to defend us. So on both sides, I thought particularly through the second and third quarter, we got some good looks, and we just couldn't even get inside 50 and connect. Yet when they got their looks, they went forward and scored. And I think at the end of the day, we had 75 chains and kicked 4 goals 11, and I think they had 72 and kicked 10 goals 1, which is the game in itself.
Did you feel like they beat you a little bit on the outside in that when they managed to find space a bit more? Or
Oh, their uncontested possessions hurt us. I thought it was their uncontested marks early. They got their ability to find a mark and then use it well, and then I'm not sure the exact numbers, but I felt like in the first half they had a lot of uncontested marks. I thought we improved that. We changed the game, and we got the game played in our half. The second half, I think, we had far more scoring shots and inside 50s, but a fair bit of the damage was done. And then when they went forward, they scored. In that third quarter, I'm not sure. I felt like they kicked pretty straight. They might have kicked 6-1. And down the other end, we didn't make the most of our opportunities.
The connection between the mids and the forwards seemed to be a bit off tonight. Was that something that has been coming for a few weeks, do you think? Or
it was a different game. The way Port Adelaide structure up is different to the way Gold Coast and Freo structured up. But no, I thought there was as much early in the second. There was a bit of defensive 50 to midfield connection where we're getting some good looks. We're getting into the middle of the ground. It's hard to turn the ball over in the middle of the ground now if you can find a mark. But I thought some of our running patterns to make it easier for the kicker, and then I just thought some of our execution and decision making wasn't as good as theirs. And when you're in these big games, you need to be good. So we've got work to do. We've got some work to do there.
Coming into this game, as you said, there's the games you need to stand up in, the big games that you want to be winning, like the big scalps. I mean, how do you feel like you performed in that sense in terms of actually standing up? Like, obviously you didn't win, but I mean, how frustrating is it in that sense that you want to
I suppose frustration's a word. I think we're looking for learnings and again, you talked about earlier, some of the numbers stacked up well, but we're not quite finishing our plays. From a defensive point of view, I thought there was some marking contests where we got good looks at and we just couldn't get a big fist in, and they did at the other end. And then on the flip side, when we had the ball in hand, just some of our decision-making and ball use versus theirs. So we've got to get better, and that's what I take out of it, learning. We've got to get better, and we want to take away. And Port did some really nice stuff to us, and we've got to be ready for that. Like you said, against the good sides, you can't hang in there and beat them when you're not at your best. You need to be at your best, and we've got to get better.
Do you feel like you're getting closer? Sorry.
No, you're right.
No, do you feel like you're getting closer to that point though, where you can, I guess, overhaul a big team, big game?
Closer. Last year we were in a lot of these games. I think Port kicked a goal after the siren to beat us. We had West Coast over there in a good spot for a while. So I think we're thereabouts. What it's got, we've got to become more consistent with it and just do it for longer. Even the Richmond game, we were in it, but we've got to be able to make the right plays when it matters most. And at the moment, Port did. Even late, they get a little look in, and they were good enough to get a score out of it, where when we got a little look in, we turned the ball over. So I thought it was both sides, but our ball use probably hurt us the most. And then we gave the ball back to them and had to defend a lot. We had to defend a lot in the first half because of our ball use.
You had Mitch McGovern in the back line. No, he went down there when Jacob went off the ground, but stayed down there for the last quarter. Is that something you think you could persist with long term? And does he need continuity within a game to find his best footy, do you think?
Look, we see him more as a forward, but we have flagged playing him down in the back half, and he's done a little bit of training down there over the last couple of years. So, it is a possibility to play him down there. We'll bid horses for courses and who we play against, and if there's certain matchups, he can play quite tall, but he's quite mobile as well. But we also like his creativity up forward when he gets his hand on the ball today. I thought he looked like something was going to happen. We just need to get into his hands a bit more.
Did you think Jacob Wiedering was gone at that stage, and how when he went down and obviously came off?
We stayed on the field, so I thought, it must have been okay. And then we got the heads up that he was doing the protocols. So to be honest, at that stage, I sort of phased out. Well, busy worried about getting Mitch back. And then at 3/4 time, when I went to put the magnets on the board, they said, no, he's right to go. So I haven't had too many. He was a bit flat. That he's like, sorry, I wasn't out there for 15 minutes. He just wants to be a competitor. We saw him late in the game make a great tackle where it looked like they were out, and he just competed for 120 minutes. Or he didn't. He was 105 minutes. But look, he's been outstanding this year for us, and we love the way he competes and wants to get his job done.
He's okay after that. Obviously, passed the concussion test, but he was pulled up okay in the rooms in that post-match.
Chatting to him in there, he seemed fine, but I didn't go into too much detail. We talked footy. That's about it.
You mentioned how clean Port were, how efficient they were. How do your guys get closer to that? Is it just time and games and practice time? Or
train, yeah. You train it, you work on it. The challenge with training is you can train your skills, but you need to be able to replicate the speed and the intensity, and you can't do that all the time at training. Otherwise, you'd be cooked for games. So, for individuals to be able to put that purpose into each skill execution at training, and trying to create the environments for them to take away their time, take away their space, because that's what happens in the heat of the battle. The time and space goes away, and you've still got to be able to make the right decision and execute the skill. So that's our challenge.
I think you had 11 players that didn't play a tackle in the first half. Is that a disappointing stat or just an indicator of how the game was played?
Look, it's a weird one. We were winning the ball, so we were going in first and winning the ball. So that does happen. At the end of the day, I think we've won the tackles for the game. When they started winning the ball in the second and third, our tackle numbers went up. And I thought the last quarter, one of the pleasing things, they fought the game out. And I thought our tackling in the last quarter, when the game was nearly gone, they were still cracking in and bringing heat on the ball, and we kept the ball in our half. So we're definitely something that we're working on and we need to get better in. But I'd have to go back and have a look at it. If it was in terms of the number of players and who was making the tackles, I'd have to have a closer look.
You talk about getting closer to those good sides. You play 3 really big teams over the next 4 weeks. Is that exciting in a way for that challenge for the group there?
Oh, absolutely. These are the games you want to play in. You want to play in these games and you want to compete against the best. Now, at the end of the day, you want to beat the best. And that's what we've got to get to. And right now, today, tells us that we're not there yet. And we get another opportunity next week against Brisbane, who I saw they just had a big win, so they're in form. So great challenge for us. Can't wait for our members and our fans to get out there and support us again. I think it's at Marvel next week. So, we look forward to these challenges and you want to play the good teams, and that's what we need to do. We need to beat these teams to show our progression.
It's particularly exciting that you get to do it so close to this game, where you talked about the things you're going to take out of it. You can just go again in like a week and try and do the same thing with a different result.
Yeah, I suppose so. I'll be honest, I love game day and I love getting ready for every game. So regardless who you're playing, it's the day of the week I enjoy the most, and I think the players enjoy the most. That's why you play the game, to go out and compete, work hard together with your mates. And during the week, the education and the learning goes on. But I get excited for every game. But to get Brisbane this week, and it is an exciting challenge and opportunity for us.
Injuries, sorry, there you go first.
Just a word on Sam Walsh. I mean, fans will probably walk away and he's the main positive again tonight.
Oh, Sam's been outstanding for us all year. If you watch the way he trains, you wouldn't be surprised with the way he plays. He trains with an intensity and a purpose that I was talking about earlier, and I know he's still working on craft and elements of his game. He wants to get better. He's played mainly wing last year, and now he's playing more inside, and his ability to cover the ground and to win the ball both in an uncontested fashion and a contested fashion is something that we really value, and I think he's going to be a great leader of this football club for a long time.
Just on injuries front, how did you guys pull up in that sense?
Who was there? Someone. Doherty came off with a hit to the shoulder. I haven't heard anything. He came back on and played out the game, so I haven't heard anything there. Other than that, I think we're pretty good.
Great, thank you.